Hey Steelers fans, welcome back. Today we're diving into everything happening with our Pittsburgh Steelers. And trust me, there's a lot to unpack. Over the past several days, the mood around the team has been intense, to say the least. Between chants, boos, and the sheer frustration of losses piling up, it's been a whirlwind. Yet, despite all the chaos, there's one undeniable truth. The Steelers have faced challenges before, and the way this organization approaches them is always fascinating to watch. For anyone who follows football closely, you know this isn't just about wins and losses. It's about culture, leadership, and the decisions that define a franchise. Every game, every practice, every interaction contributes to the bigger picture, and the eyes of fans are always watching, evaluating, and reacting. Think back to a little over a month ago when the Steelers were at Acrisure Stadium, facing arguably the best team in the league at the time. Leading up to that matchup, the conversation all week revolved around the Colts. Questions were everywhere. How good are they really? Is Daniel Jones living up to the hype? How can the Steelers possibly contain Jonathan Taylor on the ground? And then there was the coaching debate, as people wondered if Pittsburgh staff could even keep pace with the strategic mind of Shane, the so-called egghead strategist. At the time, it felt like all of that mattered more than the scoreboard because the narrative surrounding the team was built on anticipation and uncertainty. When the game started, though, it became immediately clear that football is unpredictable, and the Steelers had to fight every yard, every play, every moment. The energy on the field was palpable. Players dug deep. Coaches made critical adjustments. And even in the moments of doubt, there was a visible determination to compete. What stands out from that week, beyond the stats and highlights, is how players responded emotionally. The speeches in team meetings, the subtle gestures on the field, the visible effort to push harder than the opponent. Those are things that don't always show up on a stat sheet, but define a team's character. Preparation matters, execution matters, but the human element, the passion, the drive, the collective will, is what often decides whether a team rises to the occasion. And when you look at those efforts in retrospect, you can see how deeply invested the Steelers are in maintaining their identity, even amid adversity. Fans might not always notice it, but the small moments, the micro adjustments, the little bursts of energy and focus, these are the building blocks of every win and every loss. Now, as the season moves forward, the stakes only get higher. The next challenge is Baltimore, taking on Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, a team that humiliated the Steelers in the playoffs not long ago. That memory alone adds pressure, and yet it also provides a lens through which to measure this team's resilience. The Steelers aren't just playing another game. They're confronting a past that's hard to shake, and doing so with a coach who, for the first time in his career, faced significant public scrutiny in his own city. That moment, the boos, the questions about leadership and strategy, it all converges into one scenario where the team must show who they are. Will they rise to the challenge, channeling that same intensity we saw in previous battles, or will the weight of expectation and criticism hold them back? Every eye in Pittsburgh will be watching, analyzing, and waiting for that answer. And this isn't just hypothetical. For Art Rooney and the ownership group, there's no room to hide from decisions or outcomes. Every game, every player performance, every coaching call matters. The scrutiny isn't only external, it's internal as well. The choices made on the sidelines, the energy instilled in the locker room, and the culture set by leadership all intersect to create an environment where excellence can flourish or falter. In a league as competitive as the NFL, where legacies are built and broken in moments, the Steelers' ability to navigate adversity speaks volumes about their identity as a franchise. History is always a backdrop in Pittsburgh, from the Rooney family's enduring influence to the weight of past playoff battles, and that history informs how the team approaches every challenge. When you think about the broader picture, it's clear that this season isn't just about wins and losses. It's about proving that the Steelers can adapt, evolve, and respond under pressure. It's about leadership, Mike Tomlin's ability to motivate players, the coaching staff's tactical adjustments, and the ownership's guidance through uncertainty. Every game is a statement, every play a reflection of the preparation that went into it. And for fans, the excitement and frustration coexist, because witnessing this process is part of what makes following Pittsburgh football so captivating. You see the effort, the emotion, the strategy, and even in losses, there's a story being written, a story of a team that refuses to be defined by setbacks alone. Looking at the current roster, the quarterback position, the offensive line, and the myriad of contracts and player decisions that come into play, it becomes apparent that the Steelers are at a pivot point. Decisions made now will reverberate into the future, influencing not just this season, but the trajectory of the franchise. It's easy to get lost in hypotheticals about who should stay, who should go, or which coaching adjustments might work. But the reality is that the Steelers operate on a blend of analysis, intuition, and tradition. Every call is measured, every strategy considered, and yet the unpredictability of the game always finds a way to test the team's resolve. That tension between preparation and execution, between expectation and reality, is what makes Steelers football compelling week after week. Fans often forget the human element in all of this. The emotional stakes for players who give their all, for coaches who shoulder immense responsibility, and for ownership who must make the tough calls. Every practice, every game plan, every motivational speech shapes the outcome on Sundays. When you consider that alongside the team's history, the passion of the fan base, and the fierce competition in the AFC, you start to see why each matchup is more than just a contest on paper. It's a test of character, endurance, and resilience. The Steelers, in many ways, are defined by how they respond in those moments, by how they rise when the pressure is at its peak, and by how they navigate the intersection of talent, strategy, and emotion. Even beyond the individual matchups, the coaching philosophy of Mike Tomlin plays a central role. Fans and critics debate constantly. Has the game passed him by? Is he holding on to old ways of thinking? While opinions vary, the reality is that his leadership style and his influence on the locker room cannot be understated. Every player who steps onto the field carries a piece of that influence. Every decision in-game reflects the preparation instilled during the week, and every victory or defeat contributes to the ongoing evaluation of the franchise's direction. For Steelers fans, understanding that dynamic is crucial. It's not just about the score on Sunday. It's about the culture that makes the Steelers who they are, the approach that defines them in adversity, and the resilience that has been built over decades of football tradition. As we shift our focus to the coming games, it becomes clear that the Steelers are standing at a crossroads. After a string of tough matchups, the pressure is mounting, and every single detail matters. There's no hiding from reality. 6 wins, 6 losses, and the razor-thin margins that determine whether this season turns into a memorable run or a missed opportunity. What fans might not always see is how calculated every decision is behind the scenes. Art Rooney isn't making snap judgments based on media noise or fleeting criticism. Every choice, every evaluation, is grounded in decades of experience, a deep understanding of the team's culture, and a relentless commitment to the game itself. He's not looking at hypothetical replacements or chasing headlines. His attention is on the field, on the preparation, and on the execution that will define each game, beginning with the upcoming clash against Baltimore. The Steelers' upcoming matchup is more than just another game on the schedule. It's a test of everything this team has built over the past few weeks and months. Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry are forces of nature, and the memory of that playoff dismantling still lingers like a shadow over Pittsburgh. That kind of loss doesn't just disappear overnight. It sticks in the minds of players, coaches, and fans alike. But with adversity comes opportunity. There's a chance for the Steelers to show that the lessons learned, the grit displayed against Indianapolis, and the emotional highs and lows that have defined the season can coalesce into something greater. Every play matters, and the Steelers' approach will have to balance calculated aggression with discipline, making the kind of adjustments that only experience can teach. What's fascinating about this team is how they handle pressure internally. The headlines often focus on speculation about coaching changes or the quarterback position, but those inside the organization know the truth. The Steelers are focused on what's controllable. Mike Tomlin remains the central figure, not because of loyalty alone, but because of what he represents: a steady hand, a proven approach, and an ability to motivate players in ways that extend beyond XS and OS. Criticism is a constant companion for anyone in this role, yet the true measure of leadership is how you respond, not how loudly the crowd voices doubt. The Steelers' leadership understands that, and it's evident in the preparation, in the locker room speeches, and in the way players carry themselves when the lights are brightest. Speaking of players, every individual on the roster has a role to play in this narrative. It's not just the quarterback or the star running back. It's the offensive line holding firm under pressure, the linebackers reading every formation, the wide receivers making critical catches in tight coverage. The cumulative effort, the attention to detail, and the willingness to push beyond fatigue are what elevate a good team into a great one. And while fans may focus on the statistics, the real story unfolds in moments that rarely make headlines. A lineman adjusting on the fly, a safety recognizing a formation before the snap, a running back finding a seam because of collective effort. These moments define Pittsburgh football. They are the invisible threads that connect preparation, execution, and outcome into a cohesive story. At the same time, the Steelers' current situation invites broader reflection on the nature of coaching and franchise management in professional football. Questions abound about whether the game has evolved past traditional approaches or if new strategies must be adopted. Tomlin is often at the center of these debates, but it's important to recognize that the Steelers' philosophy extends beyond any one individual. It's a system built on consistency, accountability, and adaptability. Fans and critics may offer opinions, but the organization operates with a long-term perspective that balances immediate results with sustainable success. Every practice, every film session, and every decision about personnel feeds into that overarching plan. It's not about chasing trends or quick fixes. It's about building a foundation that can withstand adversity and evolve over time. As the Steelers prepare for each upcoming matchup, there's a heightened awareness of what's at stake. The players, coaches, and ownership all understand that a single game can shift momentum dramatically. They also know that resilience is not something that appears spontaneously. It is cultivated through repetition, focus, and an unwavering commitment to excellence. Emotional investment matters just as much as physical skill. The team's ability to internalize lessons from past failures, to channel frustration into determination, and to execute under intense pressure is what will ultimately determine their trajectory this season. And while the future of coaching speculation often dominates conversation outside the locker room, inside Pittsburgh, the reality is different. The organization isn't searching for a savior or a quick replacement. They're focused on results, on preparation, and on evaluating performance in real time. Art Rooney's mindset is clear. The next challenge is the game in Baltimore, and everything else is secondary. This approach highlights a crucial distinction between perception and reality in professional sports. Fans and commentators may speculate endlessly about potential coaching shifts or roster overhauls, but the people who actually run the franchise operate with precision and patience. Their evaluation is ongoing, methodical, and informed by decades of experience, not by the latest hot take or public sentiment. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers are swirling in the NFL world after shocking news from Pittsburgh. DK Metcalf, one of the league's most feared wide receivers, has reportedly suffered an injury while with the Steelers. Details remain scarce, and the team has been tight-lipped, fueling speculation across social media and sports networks alike. Sources close to the situation suggest it could be more serious than initially thought, leaving fans and analysts anxiously debating the potential impact on the Steelers' offensive plans. Metcalf, known for his explosive speed and uncanny ability to outmuscle defenders, has been a game-changer wherever he plays. His arrival in Pittsburgh was already creating buzz, with many predicting that his physical presence and deep threat capability could completely alter the team's aerial attack. Now, this unexpected setback throws a cloud over those expectations. How the team will adjust without their star wideout is becoming the hot topic among pundits and insiders. Rumors hint that the coaching staff is exploring different formations and possibly leaning more heavily on other receivers to fill the void, but nothing has been confirmed. Meanwhile, the fan base is in a frenzy. Social media platforms are flooded with posts ranging from heartfelt support to wild speculation. Some are questioning whether the Steelers might explore trades or free agent options to mitigate the loss, while others wonder if this could derail Metcalf's momentum entirely. Inside sources claim that team doctors are conducting a thorough assessment, but even they are reluctant to provide definitive timelines. The uncertainty is only intensifying the chatter, and every update, no matter how minor, sparks a new wave of conversation. If this injury proves serious, it could have ripple effects not just for Pittsburgh, but across the league. Metcalf's reputation as a dominant force makes him a cornerstone for any offense, and opponents may be rethinking defensive strategies if he misses significant time. For now, the rumor mill is running at full speed, with insiders and fans alike eager for any clue about the extent of the injury and the Steelers' next move. One thing is certain: the NFL community will be watching closely, hanging on every word, every cryptic post, and every subtle hint from the team. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.